verification of VLANs is really important. Now, one of the core commands is show VLAN brief. Awesome command, but there are other commands that I want to show you, and let's get into that right now. So we do a show VLAN brief. Definitely one of the commands that I'm going to do pretty often, and it's going to be very clear exactly what ports or what VLANs are defined and which ports live where. Other commands that I find essential in working with switches is show interface status. Now, I don't think a Cisco course has ever taught that command on Catalyst switches. Doesn't mean it's not important though. I love that command. Let's go down to ASW2 where we have maybe a little bit more interesting port definitions. I do a show interface status, and I can see a really beautiful picture. This is almost GUI. You know, GUI, it's got a lot of information there, and picture like the chassis horizontally, and you've got like VLAN 10, and you've got duplex and speed, and this is a fast Ethernet port. The A hyphen, that's for auto-negotiated as full. The speed, it's a fast Ethernet port. We auto-negotiated at 100. And if we continue down the list, we can see that we have some auto-negotiation at gigabit speeds for the two uplink ports that are going to DSW1 and DSW2. There are other commands that you should know. Let's make sure you know those. Show interface, and we'll look at one of these ports, switch port. This command, show interface switch port, it's a little, if you're new to the Catalyst operating system, you might not know to look for this command. Show interface normally is just going to give you layer 2 information, like speed and duplex. We're talking about VLANs now. So this command is your VLAN verification command for an individual port. You can see that switch port is enabled. If it's disabled, it's a routed port. More on that in your future. You can see that it's capable of actually trunking. The operation mode is access port. We have the capability of running 802.1q trunking and all that. But what I wanted you to see is, now we're on ASW2. We're on ASW2, so this switch right here. And what VLAN is running on this port? Let's do a show VLAN brief. VLAN 10, right? Do that command again, and we can see it's right there. So it's not as concise information, but it presents it, and it's important to know of multiple places to get the same information. Okay, so if I were mastering the deploying of VLANs, I would get to know show VLAN brief, show interface status. I'll quit out of that. And then my show interface, put in the interface, and then switch port. If you know those commands, you are ahead of where most people are, because most people don't know show interface status. Those that work in the real world, yeah, they do. A lot of people that work in the real world a lot, they come to me and go, well, what about show interface status? And I'm like, yeah, that's a fantastic command. No doubt about it. So when you're creating VLANs and verifying, it's more than just show VLAN brief.